Hey, hi all. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. Today we are gonna break down this whole concept about the rise of AI product managers, how the job of AI product management is shifting in the industry, specifically looking at what are the different kinds of AI product managers which are popping up, the traditional PM roles which are evolving into this, and we will deep dive into each of these cases, right? In terms of, hey, what are these roles? What are the kind of tools they use? Like companies they typically add value to, this kind of skills they need to develop. Also, kind of products that contribute towards the world, right? So that's the main topic of today's video. That being said, quick introduction about myself. Myself, Sarin, a product and a growth guy. I've been working with big product companies like Zomato, Gojek, and lot many companies, startups in the past. Currently, I'm focusing on consulting companies on growth and also product, specifically focusing on AI stuff as well, right? So that being said, deep diving into the topic. So let's start with the fundamentals, right? Like what are PMs, right? So PMs are basically enablers in an organization who stitch together different teams to finally craft a product, take it to the market, get feedback, and iterate, right? So that's what ultimately a PM does. So today let's look at what are the different kinds of PMs which are emerging, uh, which with the intent and the rise of AI. Right. So to start with, the first category of PMs that are getting evolved today is this category called AI-enabled PMs. Right. So essentially, AI-enabled PMs are PMs who kind of leverage AI tools in their day-to-day workflow. Basically, they use AI to improve decision making, strategy, speed up the time to the market, right? They also focus on transformation of the org, right? So if you look back, say a couple of years back, traditional organizations have been like transforming to tech in order to transform their business, give better experience to the customers, reduce cost and stuff like that, right? So these kind of PMs specifically focus on AI powered transformation now, right? On top of the existing tech transformation, right? They don't really focus on AI models. Like they don't go to the level of, let's say, fine tuning AI models or let's say building RAG systems and stuff like that, right? So their main focus is stitching together AI tools, bringing in AI transformation, all those stuff is what they mainly focus on, right? If you look at what kind of skills that they typically have, right? Let's look at what are the different kinds of that skills they need, right? First thing is the very important thing. Again, the first layer of any product manager, which is product strategy and mission, right? Like you should have a proper strategy. Strategy is nothing but a plan in terms of how do you build the different line of products and how do you make sure these line of products help the business, right? And ultimately, like how do you connect it to the vision, right? Second important aspect is the knowledge of different AI tools, APIs, automation, workflow knowledge, and all those stuff, right? So uh, deep level knowledge in terms, hey, what are the different kinds of tool, when do you use it, like how do you use that, how do you stitch together the tools, right? Like knowledge about the workflows in an organization, right? So those kind of things is something that you need to have a clarity on, especially things like, hey, what are the different kinds of workflows that our teams here go through, what are the problems that they face, how can I enhance it using AI, right? Then obviously change management for AI adoption, right? So basically, how do you execute this whole plan, right? And definitely like analytic thinking for AI opportunity, right? So you specifically look at what are the different problem areas, how do you now creatively solve that using AI tools out there, right? This is a skill that they should require. Tools they typically use are like some of the tools is what I mentioned, like the base tools like ChatGPT, Lovable, Notebook LLM, lot of other AI assistants in different categories, right? So they need to have a familiarity about all these tools and know how to use it and connect it, right, between different workflows and stuff like that, right? Now, in terms of giving you some idea in terms of, hey, what kind of companies do hire these people, or where they really add value, right? Consulting firms, basically companies like McKinsey and BCG, where they work with other companies to bring this kind of transformation. Those kind of companies, they really add value to. Large enterprises, right? Companies like Unilever, JP Morgan, Microsoft, many other organizations where you have to do the transformation to like better enhance the experience, speed, budgets, everything, right? So those kind of companies deploy them. SaaS companies, right? SaaS companies, which is again wanted to uh, increase all those things, right, or make things better, right? Example use cases are again right from the entire starting, right? Like, let's say if you're building a product, right, how do you enhance the entire building process using AI, right? That can be one use case, right, which is where AI assisted market research and all the stuff will come into picture. Second thing is, how do you automate internal processes, right? So that better you could save time, money, use human power creatively, right? So automating internal processes, another big category. Again, customer support, right? Like the sales agents, all these are again a big category where AI-enabled PMs can really add value. And then finally, like stitching all these together, right? To holistically look at the entire piece and say that, hey, like AI could really enhance the entire business experience, thereby bringing in more business and giving a better customer satisfaction, right? Throughout the journey, both for the customer and internal employees, right? So that is some of the example use cases we had. Now let's deep dive into the second aspect, which is the core AI PMs. I think before going into the core AI PMs, right, let me just talk about another category, which is an applied AI PM, which comes actually just below this, where your knowledge about AI PM should be bit more, right? Like compared to the regular AI-enabled PM, where AI-enabled PM mostly works at stitching together tools, building workflows and stuff like that. Applied AI PM actually built AI products or features, right? So at this layer, the definition and specialty, so they basically integrate AI into their existing products or build new features, right? So using AI as a base, right? So that's one thing. They focus on intuitive, valuable, trustworthy AI, end-to-end user experience, right? So they basically contribute again to the end-to-end user experience also using AI, which is again something that AI-enabled PMs also does, but they actually build features using AI, right? Then solving real problems with AI, right? So that's a specialty they focus on. Now, if you look at the kind of skills that they require, right? Uh, like for you to build features using AI, right? First thing again is you should understand like how AI features work, right? So that's a very important thing. Second thing is again UX design, right? How do you build AI features? What should be the user experience of that, right? So that is very important. Um, Second thing is AI ethics, explainability, user trust, and all those stuff, right? Hey, how do you embed ethics into the features that you built, right? Um, Third is again like how do you come up with real USP using a AI feature, right? Like for example, let's say look at Lovable, right? Lovable is a product which would have been developed by an applied AI PM, right? So how do you use that AI feature in order to really build a unique value proposition, right? So for example, in the case of Lovable, the unique value proposition is you could use a simple prompt in order to actually create a website, right? Or a bunch of prompts to create a website, right? Which previously would have been done by a bunch of uh, developers, PM, and whatsoever takes to build that, right? So the USP crafting is very important. That that thought process you need to have. Again, product thinking there is something that we'd use. And then finally, understanding what are the AI limitations and failure cases, right? So, for example, there will be lot many cases where AI could not solve that problem, or like let's say AI should be used in a particular way to solve, right? Like for example, like fine tuning should be used in a certain cases, rags should be used in other cases. Again, we'll go deep dive into all these things, but again, high level idea in terms of understanding what are the AI limitations and failure cases is very important in this role. Now coming to what kind of products companies they build, right? So typically the products they build are products like Notion AI, right? So if you look at Notion AI, traditionally it was a platform where you could beautifully take notes, and they had a lot of other features. Now they've added AI to enhance that entire experience, right? Grammarly, right? ChatGPT based tool, Lovable, we already spoke, right? Descript, Jasper AI, all these have different AI features embedded into their main product lines to make that entire experience really, really better by the use of AI, right? So let's look at some of the use cases also, uh, by which I think you will get an idea in terms of, hey, what are the use cases in which these guys typically work, right? So AI writing and editing assistance, right? So Notion is a good example of that. Domain specific copilots, right? Like for example, Cursor, Replit are all examples of this, right? Where you build a wrapper on top of certain models in order to create a new product, right? Or a feature, right? AI driven content summarizations and uh, recommendations, right? AI search in enterprise knowledge bases, like lot of products which does these kind of things, right? So this is what an applied AI PM does. Basically, essentially, they build features on top of certain basic AI infrastructure, which is like models and stuff like that, right? Now, finally, coming to the core AI PMs, right? So let's look at what the core AI PMs do, right? So core AI PMs, they typically work on the models. So for example, ChatGPT is a model, right? Claude is a model, right? Um, Grok is a model, right? So they typically work on these models and the infrastructure for it, right? Now, basically, they build the AI engines, right? So if you look at a simple example of a car, right? So the car, the engines these guys build, right? They focus on building the engines, right? So that is the this category of uh, core AI PMs. The kind of skills they require is again like deep expertise in ML, right? The ML AI technical fundamentals, knowing how to work with engineering and research, uh, productizing research into APIs and platforms and all those stuff. Scalability, performance, AI architecture, right? All these things are very important in their role because they are ultimately building the foundations of things that probably be applied AI PMs use. Right? So these are the skills that they require. Now, companies, products that they built. So basically, all these GPT models, uh, Claude, OpenAI, Grok, all these are products which are done by core AI PMs. Apart from that, they also work with things like Pinecone, Vertex AI, Hugging Face, Cohere, Anthropic, right? All these kind of products. Now let's look at what are the example use cases. Uh, so the earlier companies that we told, right? Let's say Pinecone, all those stuff, right? These are vector search databases, right? Helping in this entire AI game, right? Fine tuning deployment platforms, right? Hugging Face, all these things are deployment platforms. Uh, Creating APIs for LLM integration, right? It's the basic infrastructure again, right? Improving the core model performance, right? So you get to see, right? Like every day, new model versions are being released, right? So yesterday there was ChatGPT 5 which got released, right? Which had lot many features, right? So these kind of works that are done by the core uh, AI PMs, and they focus on that, right? So essentially, to summarize, right, the PM world, right, especially in uh, uh, the scenario background of this whole AI race which is happening, right, typically is evolving into this where it is being divided into like more of, hey, like there are AI-enabled PMs, core AI PMs, and applied PMs, and each of them have different kind of duties and responsibilities, and the definitions of them are the different, right? So yeah, so I hope with this video you got a chance in terms of looking at, hey, like how is the PM landscape changing with the invent of AI, and how you could like probably position yourself and know where to focus on, right? But again, based on your interest, based on your skills, right? So hope this video really added value to your journey. So until next time, see you.